Hello, this is Tamara Reeves, and welcome to episode number 4 of The Rise of Black Wealth, where we recognize, inspire, showcase, and empower leaders in our community, business owners, entrepreneurs, supervisors, and corporate executives, all with the efforts of becoming greater, rising to greater things, giving back to the community to teach others who are on the path of success. We want to educate one another and let the community know and the world know that we're out here doing great things. And I'm here with Jamie Crockett today. Hey, Jamie.
Hey, Tam, how are you?
Thank you so much for being here. I'm excited to have you. You know, Jamie has an amazing story of overcoming tragedy, leading to triumph. We're going to get into some of the tests and trials that she's endured to become who she is today. She's going to teach us some lessons and the importance of developing strong business relationships. And so, Jamie, thank you again for being here. So let's talk about a little bit of our history, because Jamie and I go way back. We go back to Michigan State University. Okay, way back. How many ways should we put on there? way back. About 25 years ago, I met Jamie at Michigan State University.
Oh, wow, that many?
I did the math. I did the math calculation. Yes, honey, 25 years. I was a sophomore and you came in as a freshman, remember?
Yeah, I do.
And so basically meeting Jamie, it was so enlightening because we were like 3 peas in a pod. There was Alexis Ely, Jamie, and myself. And we were just young sisters on campus trying to make a way, find our way through. And we had, God at the center of our lives, and we were trying to figure things out. And so being there in, Yakely Gilchrist was our dorm. And
all girls dorm.
Did your mother write a letter to the college for you at the time when, my mother wrote a letter specifically requesting the girls dorm, female dorm. Did you have to go through that?
Didn't write a letter, but she was very happy that I was in the girls' dorm, not knowing more men stayed
Thank you.
than the girls.
Plenty of men stayed anyway. It wasn't quite what they thought, right? But yeah, it was fun. And there was this one time, this moment in time that changed Jamie's life forever. And I'm in terms of speaking of it, I just remember it as if it were yesterday. Getting that tragic news, Jamie, can you elaborate on what happened while you were in college?
Well, I think at this point, I was going into my sophomore year, and my mom, she was a singer, and when I went off to college, she really got into her profession. So she was training other singers. She had her band going, and she was at rehearsal this particular night. And she fell out. So I got the call that my mom had taken ill and that I needed to get to her side. She was at Henry Ford Hospital. So, at this moment, Tamara, you consoled me. It was just heartbreaking because my mom was my everything, She's so strong, and for her to take ill and me not being right there, it was devastating. I was 18 at the time. So I got to her side, and come to find out she had a brain aneurysm. She didn't pass right away from the brain aneurysm. She I needed a lot of therapy and a lot of care. And so I left Michigan State to be at home with my mom and take care of her. I left home and took care of my mom. I worked. Actually, I was fortunate because Gerber Products had a inner city youth program that I started while I was in high school. And with that program, they taught us sales merchandising. They taught us a lot of things about business. They even flew us on their corporate jet. This was my first plane ride on a corporate jet. And so when I came back to take care of my mom, they allowed me to come and work with them and, you know, earn money while I took care of my mom. She later passed probably 3 or 4 months after I came back to take care of her.
Okay.
So at a very young age, I was making some big grown-up decisions and, you know, doing some things to support my mom.
For sure. You know, and on our side, you know, being at the school, all I knew at the time was that you had to go home. Your mom had fell ill, and I never, ever, ever saw you again. You know, it was like, where did Jamie go? We knew what was going on, but then to get the final tragic news about her passing, it was devastating to all of us on the floor, you know. And it's just that, you know, I didn't even know about the Gerber program that you had become a part of. I'm so thankful to God that that was in place for you to be able to take on work. You know, we go to college with plans for the future, and we don't know what lies ahead. But God does. I'm glad that He took care of you. We certainly missed you. We lost contact for a number of years. And I think it wasn't until last year, about a year ago, at our friend Alexis' wedding that we saw each other again. So I commend you for what you had to do, the sacrifice you made to, you know, make sure things were on the up and up back at home. And I missed you dearly. We certainly prayed for you and all that. And that's why, you know, after reconnecting with you, I really wanted to bring you on this show because I've learned so much more about you as of late. And because you've also become, you were a single mother.
Yeah, Ryan, he's 16. He's a wonderful kid. He does everything, you know, from swimming to fencing to archery. Yeah, very well-rounded kid.
Yeah, that's another good miracle of God, you know, just knowing that Jamie's taken care of and that she's about her business. Let's talk about this journey now. So these are some challenging things that have come into your life, right? In looking back, what you do? What was your journey in terms of taking the next steps to go beyond, you know, the loss of your mom and coming into adulthood at such a young age and putting the pieces together? What was that like for you?
The journey was difficult. You know, it's funny that when you're in the middle of your journey, you can't see the end. And so while I'm in the middle of everything, it was very hard, you know, it was very hard. But looking back on it, I can see where those things set me up to be where I am now. And I'm grateful for it. And, you know, it's just about taking each day, you know, and recognizing the opportunity and taking advantage of the opportunities, and anything that happened that wasn't so great, looking at that as well and getting the lesson from it and moving forward.
That is amazing. Did you become a part of a church, or did you join any groups, networking groups, anyone special in your family that held your hand? Because you ultimately moved away from Michigan down to Atlanta, correct? Who were the key players in your life? I
did.
Okay. Who were the key players in your life that held you by the hand or whatnot?
So during that time, gosh, during that time, I had a whole village, and all of my mom's friends, they, wrapped their arms around me in love. Uh, my Aunt Gloria, my mom had six sisters and three brothers. So, everyone was reaching out. And when I moved to Georgia, I knew one person. So I had to re-establish a community, and God in His infinite wisdom just placed mothers in my life along the way. Johnny Wilcox, she was very instrumental in my life. She took up as my Atlanta mom, and so many others. Yeah, so a lot of people poured into me.
Got it. We talked earlier, we talked earlier about how, in looking at you right now, we wouldn't even know all the story of what it entailed to have to start fresh and start over and all that. We just see the end product, right? And even when we go into the details of your current business and how you came to learn to operate such a wonderful entity, you just don't know the full story of how you have to hold on and be patient and endure so many things. You just don't get there overnight. That's why your story is so compelling to me. When did you know, when you moved down to Atlanta, that, okay, if I'm going to do something, I need to go into business for myself? I mean, did you start when you had a regular job for a little while, and then you realized, okay, I want to go into business for myself? What was that like?
Well, I say it's been a journey all throughout. My grandfather he owned an apartment building. He was also a singer, and he promoted his own music. He sold his music out the trunk of his car. My grandmother sold dinners for the church, and like I said, my mom, she was a talent, and she could sing, she could play any instrument. I saw her throughout my life singing, hiring talent, drafting contracts, booking shows, those things. So I saw that all of my life, and we called it the hustle, yeah. Sure. We have a hustle, so they call it a hustle. So I saw that all my life. And then, as I mentioned, Gerber product, my first plane ride was on a private jet. Okay. And that exposure and that feeling, I sat on the jet and I felt Catherine Chancellor. And my thought was, who owns this jet and how did they get here, right? But it still didn't click. I still didn't have that aha moment about becoming owning a business. I just didn't. So when I came to Atlanta, I was fortunate enough to work for a company called CompuCredit. And it was a startup venture. The CompuCredit had an entrepreneurial spirit, right? So whatever business you owned at the company, at that time I was in collections, you owned that business. And they weren't, standing over you, just whatever your ideas were, you could run with it. And so that spirit, sparked some things, and I moved up the corporate ladder, and I probably stayed there for about 16 years. Yeah, I stayed there for about 16 years. And then I wanted to go on and do some other things. And so one day I just woke up and I said, I think I want to start my own business. I just don't know what. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I did a little research here and research there about, a few things, but nothing really appealed to me. And then a friend introduced me into the Autoglass business, and I said, I could probably do this. And so that's when I got my thought to do it. And it's funny, like when you know what you're supposed to do, everything starts working in conjunction for it to happen. So I was able to get a scholarship to go to school and to learn how to put in Autoglass, to do the repairs. I found a lot of mentors along the way. So yeah, it was a journey, but I always knew that I wanted to be in a service-based business. I always felt like I wanted to help someone, And with Autoglass, you're like, how are you really helping someone? It's Autoglass. But, you'd be surprised. There's so many people that call due to domestic violence, vandalism, debris hitting their car, and they need service, and I am here to serve. Yeah. And so that's what our business is based on, just, service, that we are here to serve.
Oh.
And started there.
Wow. I'm just blown away by everything you're telling me right now. And that's why, when I have guests on my show, I like to not know the whole story. So that way, when I hear you speak, my reaction can be just as genuine as the person watching the show. You know what I mean? Because it is so intriguing in how you say, when you put yourself in a position to want to serve, and you know what you want to then do, the mentorship flows to you, the scholarship funds flow to you, everything begins to work in its place and in its proper time. And that is powerful. I do also love the fact that you mentioned that you have these mentors. I am a plain, firm believer in the fact that we cannot do anything by ourselves. We have to have people who are role models, or those who have experienced some of the bumps, right, and the hard places in the journey to teach us. We don't always have to go hitting our head up against the wall, because there are others who've already lived this. And probably you can speak to this, that when you have attained or achieved a certain level of success, you kind of want to give back. You want to share. You want others to know, hey, you don't have to go through it this way. Is that right? Don't you feel that? In addition to
you do.
You're serving on the actual professional level in the service that you render with the Autoglass company, there's also this element of wanting to serve, to share, to help make it easier for someone else, right?
That's right. Yeah. That's why we're here. And that's why I'm so happy that you created this platform, because, we need to know this. I mean, you don't know what you don't know. And if, you can have a mentor, or, a platform such as this to help share some information and talk about real things, because, like you said, a lot of times you see the end, you see the success, but you don't see what it took, the grind, the late hours, the wearing different hats, the stretching and pushing, to attain that end result. You don't see that.
For sure. What in some of your business dealings, again, when it comes to partnerships, and I guess the term out there, right, is getting into bed with individuals who are in the business with you that can help propel you, what are some of the takeaways? What are some of the important elements that we should have in place when partnering someone? What kind of vetting should we do? Help us with that. You know what I'm getting at. Any documents, or what is there that we should know about partnering with someone?
Well, I spoke to a CEO before I decided to get in the business. Actually, it was one of the CEOs with the company that I used to work with. And his exact words were, "He who controls the finance controls the business." Okay, so that was a good start. So one, make sure you're in with the finances. Also make sure that you have an operating agreement, right? So an operating agreement is kind of like a prenup, maybe you would say, since we're getting in bed. It's how are we going to do business? What are our core values? What am I responsible for? What are you responsible for? And make sure that it's clearly defined. Okay. Make sure that's clearly defined. And also, how are you going to exit out of that business? Because partnerships don't always last, for various reasons. It could be death. It could be, I don't like you anymore. I don't like the way you do business, for a variety of reasons. How are you going to exit? And the operating agreement, you need to get some type of legal advice and counseling for that. Here in Atlanta, I use Attorney Mills. Excellent attorney here that deals with corporate transactions, anything as far as your corporate books or anything like that, that firm can definitely take care of. But you use anyone, that's just who I choose to use. But that's a very important piece, and you need to get that nailed down before you sell your first piece of glass or do anything.
Excellent. That is really good. You've got my wheel spinning right here. I'm like, okay, let me make sure I've got everything buttoned up in some of the things that I'd like to pursue here really soon. This is good. Do you get involved in the daily, day-to-day repairs or operations of your business?
I do.
Okay. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I do, definitely. I think that when you start a business, you need to know it inside and out. Do your research, and then research some more. Research your competitors, work in that industry, work under someone. And when it comes to your own business, a lot of times, like I said, you're starting off from scratch. So you will have to wear a lot of different hats. Some things you'll be able to learn, and then some things you need to outsource or pull in other talent for. So for Autoglass, it's just my personality. Like, I want to know everything. So have I installed windshields? Yes. Can I install windshields? Yes. Can I do repairs? Yes. Can't do them all myself. That's another thing about small business. You have to start off, doing some things, but then you have to learn when to scale. Right? And because you can't do everything yourself. And a lot of times, people in business, they get stuck in a rut of, can't nobody do it better than me. Okay. Yes. Yeah, you don't want to get stuck in that rut. But yeah, there's a lot of things that you have to do. You have to do your accounting, the day-to-day operations. You may have to answer a call. It's your business, why not?
Right. That is loaded. That is so good. I mean, it's important to know your business, get in there, get in the weeds, right? Dig in, and then at some point execute it to where you can delegate and outsource where needed, right?
Absolutely.
A lot of times when people say that they want to have their own business, they have a vision of freedom, and they can be out of the country and just be free to make the money and things like that. But as you're saying, you do have to know your business. When do you think, or are you at this point right now where you can say, I want this business to run in spite of me? I want this business to run even if I'm not in town, or if I've got to go on an extended, vacation somewhere or whatever it may be. When do you think that you might be at that point where you can delegate or hire, virtual assistants, or, be hands off to where you can really reap the fruits of your labor? You know what I mean? When do you think that might be?
Yeah, well, I would say probably in the next year and a half, I will be there. A lot of that, because we have so many cars to service, I'm already at that point. But and I don't think that I will ever truly, really be totally hands off,
Sure.
right? But that is the goal, to get to the point where there are so many people in place that will do business as if it's their business, that is the point. So probably about another year and a half, I'll definitely be there.
That is good. That is good. The reason why I asked that is because I often think about Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow quadrant. You
Absolutely.
with that. I think,
yeah, absolutely.
We talk about going from the employee phase to the self-employment phase, and that's good, but you got to show up. You've got to show up and be there all the time at self-employment phase. But going into the business ownership part of it is where those systems are in place to where you can take a break, whatever. But I agree with you 100% that you should really never want to be fully out of the picture, right? You want to have some say in there. And I like that idea too, because in that phase of being a business owner where you can interact with your counterparts, right, that are working your business for you, you can get to know them, you can get to show appreciation for them, and I think it'll just scale the business even more if they know that you have a presence and that you can truly appreciate what they're doing for you, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah, being a woman in this business, is very fun, because the guys are like, you can put in the windshield. I'm like, yeah, I can do it. I said, come on in, let's do it. So yeah, it's fun.
I love that.
It's fun. Yeah, so I'll probably never stop, really, just here and there.
Okay, that's very good. Well, this has been so power-packed, very emotional for me as well. I'm just grateful to see all that God has done for you over the years, and I'm looking forward to connecting with you even more. What can you offer as we end this broadcast today to those who are working to start their own business or launch, and maybe they're scared or they don't know what to do or how to start, how to get focused? What can you give as some tips to those out there trying right now?
Well, you know what? I thought about that and I actually wrote some things down. So the first thing that I would do is say, if you have a vision, write it. Write it down. What is the vision? And then once you have that vision, research. We talked about that earlier. Research, and research some more. Learn everything that you can about your industry. You want to join associations, take a class, because there's going to be some things along this journey that you just won't be prepared for. I actually studied with the Bronner Brother Institute here in Atlanta. Definitely recommend them. Take good care of yourself, right? Mind, body, and spirit. A lot of times when you're just starting off, you lack sleep. You're working around the clock. There's a lot of different things coming towards you. I would say take time for yourself, get some affirmations. Sometimes you may have to turn the phone off. For me, it's hiking. I like going to the mountain, hiking, and things of that nature to, calm down and get back centered. I would say have a team of like-minded folks around you. I have a team, my posse. It's Roosevelt Gilbert. Roosevelt has started a barbershop, and the barbershop is actually opening in Atlanta, the Atlanta airport. I have Black Girls Do Nails. She saw that there was a need to create a directory for Black women doing nails. And so she has a directory, and her Instagram is popping, like my 16-year-old says. So check her out. So I just have a team around me that, these guys are doing things, and we feed off one another and we help each other. I have brothers and sisters in Autoglass. I would also suggest, like I said before, getting your mentor, get legal, Get your operating agreement, your corporate books, seals. Marketing is extremely important. Like, marketing is everything. It can be very costly, so try to find some ways to market. Facebook, Instagram, those free venues. Word of mouth is the best. So every customer that you touch, make it like your first and last customer. Treat them well. I would say get involved in your community. We talked about that earlier. Find something or some way to give back. And just remember that you're here to serve, and that, your customer is the most important thing, and that you can do this. You can do it. God has equipped you with everything that you need, and everything that you don't have, it will be supplied. Really, honestly, I can't tell you the number of times where I was in a predicament where I needed help, and help arrived. Miraculously, mysteriously, help arrived. So you can do this now. You can do it.
Wow. Jamie, that is loaded. Thank you. Are you going to be writing a book soon?
One never knows. One never knows. But I think that the next piece would be training. Yeah, I'm definitely interested in training new up and coming business owners. Probably do some of that. And also, if anyone's interested in the Autoglass industry, I definitely will probably take that to the next level.
Very good. Very, very good. How can we find you? What is your Instagram, your Facebook, your Twitter? We'll include these in the links at the bottom of this episode as well. But how can we get in touch with Jamie?
Well, you can always call Signature Autoglass at 404-850-1072. You can reach us on Instagram at Signature Autoglass GA. We're also on Facebook as Signature Autoglass. You can send us a note at info@signatureautoglassga.com.
Love it. Awesome. So grateful for you. I am so elated. I can't wait for everybody to see this. Thank you, Lord, for my friend Jamie.
Thank you.
And we will be talking again soon. And all of you out there, thanks again for watching The Rise of Black Wealth. This is why we do what we do. And we appreciate you. Please be sure to watch, like, subscribe, and share this program. We thank you. And we'll see you on the next episode. God bless.